Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm going to talk to you about gardening today, but specifically gardening in the heat. We've got some hot weather coming up. The forecast is 104 to 105 degrees this week. There's a few things that I've learned over the years to help my garden thrive through these high temperatures, so I will be showing you what I do. One of the most effective things you can do for your garden is to add mulch. You can see here I've just taken pine shavings, and just about any kind of mulch will do. You can even lay old weeds down. If you're weeding your garden, you can lay the weeds down to help retain moisture in the soil. You can also use newspaper or cardboard, just anything to lay down and help the moisture stay in the soil and not evaporate on these really hot days. I've got my onions mulched, and what I've done on the onions to get bigger bulbs is I've dug out the soil except for right around the roots, and then they can expand easier. So if you keep them watered well, they will expand and you can have bigger onions. But I've just put the mulch on top, and then the mulch stays loose so they can expand through the mulch. And while we're looking at this weed right here is called Portulaca, and it's actually an edible wild plant. It does have several other names, but you can eat this on salads or however you want, stir fry, and it's actually really high in omega-3s, so you guys might want to not take that out of your garden and just let some of it grow as long as it's not stealing nutrients from the other plants. So let's talk tomatoes. Tomatoes can tolerate temperatures up to 85 as far as blossom set goes before they will start dropping their blossoms. One thing that I do to help them pollinate is the tomato flower has everything that it needs in order to pollinate. So if you just shake your trellis a little bit, then it spreads the pollen onto the other parts of the flower and you have your pollination. Pepper flowers also have everything that they need to pollinate, and so you just shake your pepper plants and that helps them to pollinate as well. As far as the heat goes, bell pepper varieties can stand temperatures up to 80 degrees and hot peppers 85 degrees. The plant will still live through higher temperatures, but in order to set that flower, they want it not over 80 and 85. You can see the difference in the shishito peppers. These ones set their fruit really early. They flowered earlier, and so they've got a lot of fruit on them. And then these ones are a chili pepper, and they're just starting to flower, and I do see a few of the flowers have dropped off. There's one that looks like it's gonna be all right, and then one right here. You can see how the stem is a little more yellow. It looks like that one's not gonna make it, but we're gonna leave it on there and give it a chance. This is a classic example of what flower drop looks like. What will happen is if it doesn't get pollinated or it's too hot for pollination, the whole stem will turn yellow and just fall off really easily. The same goes for the eggplant as far as pollination. They are pollinated the same as peppers and tomatoes. You can see we've got one little eggplant coming on down there. Not a lot of flowering yet, but they're usually a little later in the season. And the eggplants will flower up to temperatures around 90, so they like it a little more warm than the tomatoes and the peppers do. Here's our cabbage. Cabbage will tolerate temperatures up to 80 degrees, but optimal growing temperature is actually only 60 to 65. And since these have moderately sized heads, we'll go ahead and harvest those and try to get another crop in before fall. Another really great way to combat the high temperatures is to put up some shade cloth. You can see here I've got a shade cloth made out of burlap that we're using just to give these tomatoes a little bit of shade, try to keep them a little cooler during the afternoon. I also have these shade cloth. One is a sheet and one is some canvas. Ideally the sheet would be tied up to some T-posts, but I ran out, so we're just doing an A-frame. But that's just to give some of these plants a little shade in the afternoon in the heat of the day. So far the only thing that really seems to like this heat is the corn. As long as I keep it watered, it keeps doing its thing, and it's setting on ears and seems to be doing great. So the final thing that I'll be doing to keep my garden a little cooler is I will water about midday. I don't want to water too late in the afternoon because I don't want the water setting on the leaves as the heat of the day comes by and the sun's directly on them. But I will water later in the morning just to kind of give it that extra boost, keep it cool for longer, so that hopefully we'll get some pollination going and better fruit set. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope your gardens are doing well. Remember, don't give up when those temperatures reach over 100. Like and subscribe and share this video, and we will catch you on the next video.